Networking in the private sector. This is a topic that I want to be solving with you all in my group coaching for humanitarians who want to transition to the private sector. So, the best outcome that we want to achieve by networking is obviously getting hired. But the next best, in case the hiring is too much of a jump and we feel like we cannot really network at the level to get hired, then the next best outcome that we can go for is people in the private sector advocating for you, referring you to their people. And another best outcome before that could be them telling you about inside information as to how and what are the arguments, what are the selling points that could get you hired in their department. So these are the three, I would say, best outcomes that we can always aim for. Now, the question is, how do we do that? And most importantly, how do we do it at the level that we want to get hired at and not just start from scratch? Because a lot of the time I talk to humanitarians, I coach them on how they stay in this place of, I don't want to start from scratch. I have done already 10, 15, 20 years of UN or other humanitarian work with other agencies. And now starting from scratch just feels like daunting, for the lack of a better word, right? And that's one obstacle. The other obstacle that people always feel is that, well, I don't know how to sell or how to translate my expertise into their language. And then the other one, the obstacle they talk about is how they just don't feel confident. They don't have the skill sets specifically in the private sector, and therefore they just don't know how to network properly and confidently. Or they just have a lot of judgments about networking in general and how bad it is, how it shouldn't be, and all of this. And all of these obstacles that we believe are obstacles just stop us from networking effectively, networking in the private sector in the way that we sell our expertise confidently at the level that we want to sell, so that also we network powerfully to compensate for certain things that we may not have, but we compensate with other expertise that we do have. Right? And then we have people who network in the private sector or believe that networking in the private sector is something like pushing or begging or can you just please hire me for whatever kind of a space where it does not work anyway. Because we know so far that in the networking, whether you do networking for the private sector or for the humanitarian sector or being your own boss, networking has become such an important skill. Another way of saying is building relationship has become such an important skill that we have neglected for far too long because we didn't need to. So how do we do the networking in the way that I always call a powerful networking? And how do we, especially in the private sector, do a networking where we come to the table with our solutions instead of description of all the things that we have done and then asking the other person to pick whatever they like, which they're not really interested in, right? So the main goal that I'm really pursuing with my group coaching uh, that I'm putting together. So you have a chance to join before the end of the month. The main goal I'm putting together is solve all of these obstacles that I mentioned above and get ourselves to the place where we know who we are, we know what we're selling, we know how we're selling it, we know how to advocate for ourselves, um, we know how to resolve any of the obstacles that our brain will come up with as we are doing networking with the private sector. And most importantly, we believe that we are capable of transitioning to the same level or more in the private sector instead of having to start from scratch. And that's really the skill, the coaching that we need to have so that in the networking with other people, we're not really struggling and stumbling and trying to resolve our own issues, but rather we are capable to propose solutions to the other person. We also know why they should be advocating for us, why they should be referring us to their people in the company, or why they should hire us. And therefore, I'm doing simulations. I'm even inviting people from the private sector to network with the group so that we at least do some of the networking together, so to feel safe, right? And then, of course, you need to be doing networking with other people in the private sector on your own based on where you want to transition to, so that we no longer stay at the beginning of, oh, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. I feel lost. All of these questions that we need to resolve so that we can get to actually doing the thing of getting to know the private sector people, getting to know and building relationship with them, getting to know what they speak and how they speak and what they want, what they don't want, so that we get more skillful and powerful in knowing what we're selling and why we're selling it and how we're selling it. So that's why I really want humanitarians to have this ability to know what will get them hired by the private sector, the one that they want to go for. Who are the people who can advocate for us in the private sector? And how do we present ourselves in a way that they are willing and wanting to advocate for us so that we get hired or so that we increase our chances of getting hired, right? So that's why the whole 1 year of work that I have put together, even though I believe it doesn't take 1 year for many people, the whole 1 year that I put together of weekly sessions of coaching and um, simulations and doing networking with the private sector people once a month. All of this was the aim of us no longer doubting ourselves and our expertise, no longer undermining ourselves and our work, no longer playing small, but rather going to the networking, feeling confident, feeling powerful, feeling equal, feeling you know what you're doing and why you're doing it, and no longer keep staying in the loop of how you don't have this, you don't know this, and etc. So, my dears, if you would like to solve this networking issue in the private sector once and for all, where you know how to get hired, you know how to get people advocate for you, you know how to get them, give you insider information as to how best to present yourself and position yourself. If you would like to learn how to do that and learn how to do that in your own way, but knowing what is it that the private sector people are looking for and wanting to hear, then you should join this group. And as I said, we will start from the scratch of the beginning of all of answering all of the questions as to how not to be stuck, lost, and all of this, and then getting to you feeling very confident and comfortable talking about your expertise and how to sell those expertise, and talking to CEOs, CFOs, decision makers of companies that you choose, talking to them and offering them solutions using your expertise. That's what we're working on, and that's how we're wanting to get you to that level of positioning yourself. So if this is for you, then this is the time. We have amazing people already, and I would love to have more of amazing people so that we can do this together. We can learn from each other, and we keep doing so much more of this networking in the private sector so that we know exactly what works for you, for your expertise, and what doesn't, and how to fix whatever the issues that are coming up from you actually doing networking with the real people in the private sector instead of keep thinking about how all of these things that won't work and how you're not capable or whatever else that you keep telling yourself. So if this is you, there is a link to book a call with me and to discuss and to sign up. We have up to 10 people in one group, and we have amazing people from the private sector who want to do this together with you. And I'm excited that we're going to do this. So let's create those results of you getting hired at the level that you would like to and getting paid well and doing the job that you would like to, rather than keep feeling like you need to start from scratch or being an intern and all of this, because for many, that's not really where you want to be, and that's not where you should be. Okay, majors, have a beautiful week.